Hello, everyone. It's Olga Zarr from SEO Sly. Welcome to SEO Podcast by SEO Sly. Today, I have a guest, very interesting one, Mark. Mark, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Can you briefly introduce yourself to the audience in case someone doesn't know you?
Yes, I'm Mark A Preston. I'm a SEO trainer, speaker, and advisor. And I basically help businesses and companies and agencies to drive leads and sales through the power of SEO and content.
Okay, I would love to start as usually with getting to know your story of SEO, your beginnings, and what brought you to SEO. Can you tell me when you started doing SEO?
Yes, I started back in 2001
Oh,
before I actually understand what I was doing were called SEO. I
mm,
was my history is a mechanical engineer, but
okay.
then I basically started something online and started building websites just for myself and
Hmm.
needed to understand how to get people to the website to basically drive leads through the websites. And in the first 3 to 5 years, I built up about 100 to 120 websites,
Wow.
all generating leads for businesses that I sold, as well as the it were a bit of an understanding of what works and what doesn't back then.
Uh-huh.
And but mainly I was selling leads through my own website to businesses in then different industries.
Okay, okay. And can you tell me, like, the technology you were using back then? How were you building those sites?
Just purely HTML, just page
Okay.
after page. It
Okay,
was
so using
nothing
Notepad?
fancy. It was just raw HTML Dreamweaver stuff.
Okay, I still kind of remember those times. Yeah, I was playing with building sites around that time as well.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean, one advantage, they were very fast.
and like no one even was thinking about speed and things like that back then, even though the internet was so much slower. And what can you share what type of businesses you are building those sites for?
Well, it wasn't businesses, they were my websites. Just pick industries. So,
Okay.
like, just random industries like flat pack builders. I had a music website. I had
Okay.
um, one for electricians, one for um, carpenters, just lots and lots of different industries.
And you were generating leads and or was it like affiliate marketing or just
Well,
generating leads
I
and
had a few affiliate links in, mainly AdSense back then,
uh-huh.
but my intention was not originally to set up this business to sell leads. My intention was just to set some websites up so I could test things on. And
Okay.
I ended up getting them ranked very well and driving all these leads to them. And then I thought, well, no, I can't go out and build this furniture, but maybe other people who are doing that job can. And that's how I started the idea.
That's interesting. And can you tell me more or less what type of traffic you were receiving to like one of the best sites back then?
Oh, to be honest with you, I can't remember.
Uh-huh.
I just remember generating uh, just lots of leads every day
Uh-huh. Yeah,
back
still
then.
nice. Okay, and then what about SEO? Like what techniques were you using back then?
Well, it's not really changed how I do things as I do today. It's
Uh-huh.
basically understanding what's important to the audience, writing a page around that topic, and getting it just ranks, linking everything together properly. And
Uh-huh.
basically, it's not it. obviously there were all different tactics back then, but I tended to look at what everybody else was doing and thought, well, instead of just copying what everyone else is doing, I want to beat them. So what do I need to do? How can I be different? And it was around content, because I needed to get not just people to visit the page, I need people to convert and drive the leads. So I had to write the content in such a way that it's not only going to get ranked, but it's actually going to convert and drive the lead.
So you were like a modern thinker back then, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say different.
Different. Yeah, sure. Okay, so you started with building those sites, and what happened next? What was your next?
Yeah, I made quite a bit of money doing that. Then one day, for some unknown reason, I decided to set an agency up, because lots of people were seeing what I was doing and saying, well, can you do that for our business? And the next thing I know, I'd set my first agency up. And, you know, throughout the years, I've done agencies. I built up a digital marketing franchise myself. I've done training, speaking. I've done lots of things. I've worked as head of SEO in-house and agency. So you could say I'm very much rounded. Oh yeah, I did a stint of freelancing as well. So so that, in a nutshell, you could say what everybody else is doing, I've probably done.
So can you tell me like your experiences with being an agency owner? How many agencies did you have? The first one was probably more about building sites, right?
Yes, the first one was a mixture of web design and SEO marketing. So yeah, I mean that I ended up having offices in Scotland and in England. I probably had a team of about, I'd say, 20 people altogether, and I generated some good business.
And what happened with that agency? Is it still kind of working, or you sold it?
No, it's in the 2007, 2008 recession. I made a promise to all my staff to say, I'm going to try and keep you in the job to my last penny. And that's what happened.
Okay. I understand. And what happened next? What was your next kind of
Well,
project?
basically, I lost everything. And I just went freelance for a bit.
Okay. I get it. I'm just curious because your path is very, as you said, you tried different things, different perspectives. I'm very curious to learn more about this. Like, can you also share, for example, the companies you worked for? Because you said you work in-house, you were head of SEO.
All right. When I run the agencies, I work with businesses of all sizes. I work a lot in the white labeled space. So I worked in conjunction with agencies on massive brand websites and the small businesses as well. Same with freelancing. I'd work with a variety of businesses, not one type of business, because if I just work with one type or one size of business, I'd never expand my knowledge more.
And now you said you were an SEO trainer. Can you tell me more about this? What types of trainings you do?
I'd say 50% is based on techniques. The other 50%, it's really based on changing the mindset of the teams. It's about understanding the business, helping them to put different systems in place, processes, just tweaking their structure so they can do their jobs better. And so
yeah.
I've got in both agency side and in-house side.
Can you share more about the types of some examples from how did you want to change the mindset, in what directions, what issues you see, what problems do you see people experience?
It's a case of asking the team what their job roles are, what they do, but then I sit down and ask them to, I want to understand why they're doing it. Now, if they can't explain why they're doing what they're doing, they're in the wrong mindset, because they'll probably be focusing on the wrong thing. So if I need to understand first the team and what mindset they're in and how they're thinking about SEO before I can start going in to see if it needs tweaking and changing and getting the people to think in the right way. But realistically, it's all about the team understanding the why. And personally, I've found a lot of teams don't understand the true why, just think, well, I need to do X, Y, Z.
And about processes, like what flaws do you see people having process in their SEO processes, like the most common ones?
Well, basically, it's about, I see SEOs doing things that doesn't necessarily result in the biggest impact. So they'll spend a lot of time tweaking things that, yes, it looks good to tweak, but it's not moving the needle. But what I need to do is understand how, get them to understand like the priority list. Like these things here will get you further towards the goal you're going for faster than doing all these things over here. And that's what I find is most common. People, I find teams don't understand what to prioritize, because often they don't understand what impact something's going to make.
And can you give like specific example of some of the things that people can focus on in their processes, things that do not necessarily move the needle and things they should be focusing on instead?
Yeah, I mean, it does obviously vary from business to business, agency to agency. But say, for instance, the content team, right? Just to give a scenario, I've been into a business where I've trained the content team, and the content team have been doing the research thinking, well, all these people are searching all these things relating to our industry. Let's write all these things. But when I got them to think about what they're writing and list the topics in order of the sales funnel, they suddenly realized that what they was writing was in after sales content.
Okay.
Now that's once, because I get think, and that's where I mean about changing the mindset of people. And so then, but suddenly, until I've mapped it out, until I've got them to list it down and look at the sales funnel, I said, well, what you're doing a very, very good job at servicing your competitors' customers.
Oh, that's a good one. Really good one. Okay. So you said you're doing SEO trainings. You're also doing speaking. Can you tell me what conferences are you going to? You have recently been to?
Yeah, well, I'm part of a professional speakers mastermind group. So a lot of speaking things I do is in the corporate world. So I don't do very much at all at marketing conferences.
Okay.
Mainly because they don't pay.
That's true.
Yeah. So I tend to do like franchise events, business events, corporate events in-house. that type of thing. So where it's
Okay.
in the professional speaking environment, and it's seen as a job, and I'm thinking that I've always been in the mindset of being different. Same with when I was writing, I see speaking no different. And I'll give you a scenario on this.
Yeah, sure.
Years back, when everybody and anybody in the SEO world were trying to beg search engine land to get them to write an article for them,
Yeah.
I didn't bother. I instead approached a local business newspaper and says, can I be a monthly columnist in your newspaper? And that's what I did. So the audience would write in with SEO marketing questions, and every month I'd do a column around it. That column generated me a lot of business. Why? Because the audience was potential customers. And it's same with speaking. I don't want to speak at SEO conferences and marketing conferences. I want to be at business events and conferences.
Okay, that's interesting. Can you name some example conferences you were to, like those business types of conferences?
Well, it's not like in the SEO space like Brighton SEO. They are corporate events.
Okay.
So like franchise events, for instance.
And how big are they? How many speakers are there?
I mean, it varies. Some can be only a couple of hundred people. Some can be up to 5,000 people.
Okay.
So usually I go in as a keynote SEO speaker and go in, and the objective is to understand who the audience are. Because unless I understand who the audience are, I can't tailor my talk to that audience. And it's very, very important as a speaker, the language you use. So the language I'm going to use and the way I say things is going to be totally different in front of a group of business owners than it is in front of a group of professional SEOs.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and so do you like pitch to talk on those events, or do you get invited?
Both. I think a lot of it's done through LinkedIn. I also have like agents as well through speaker agencies who get me to work.
And can you share, if that's okay, like more or less how much can you get paid? Like, for example, from what amount to what amount for speaking in such a conference?
Right. Again, it depends on the conference, but you're talking four figures. You're talking mid four figures. Obviously, if it's an online gig and it's virtual, then you're looking maybe 1,500.
Makes sense. Okay, so we talked about you being an SEO training, SEO speaker. What else was there?
Advisor.
Advisor. So, like, do you advise like companies with specific SEO problems? They come to you, or what is it exactly in this aspect? Is this area?
Yeah. Again, like everything I do, it's varied. I can basically go into a company and help them to interview if they're taking people on in-house. I help advising problem solving, but mainly it's about businesses who have an existing team, but they need direction. So what I do is give that team direction. You could say a monthly job list. And it's my job to push that team closer and closer to them business goals. And as an advisor, that's how I help businesses through that role. Do I go into the website and optimize the titles and things myself? No, I don't. because that's not as valuable for my time. You know, it's about going into businesses that has got a team. Maybe they just need a little bit of direction, you know, and I give that team the direction.
So what's next you currently do? 3 things we covered.
Yeah.
I want to learn as much as possible because you're a very interesting figure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What can I say? I wrote a book, The Business Side of SEO.
Oh, tell me more about this.
Yeah. Again, I've always wanted to write a book, but I didn't want to write a book based on techniques, SEO techniques, because I wanted to write something that will have long-term value.
Yeah, more evergreen content.
And what over the years, I've had so many people contact me who are very good at doing SEO and gone freelance, say, or set their own agency up, but don't understand all the business side of it, or driving leads, managing teams, doing all that aspect. And basically, I just asked what questions you want answering relating to the business side, and next thing, the book sort of was produced.
Oh, I need to read this one.
Yeah, it's not a massive book. It's jam-packed full of actionable tips. Basically, it's my own story. So it's in a way, it's my own story about what I have tried, what I've wasted a lot of money on, all my failures, and all the success things. So it's an honest, it's not to say I'm this big person and you'll generate £20 million, or it's not about that. It's just honest story and journey based on, well, this is how I generated leads. This is how I found the best to convert leads. And the biggest takeaway within the book, I think people realised I realised that if you ask for a budget up front, then the sales process is a lot easier.
Oh.
Because so many people and agencies waste their time and many, many hours producing SEO plans that basically never go anywhere because of money. And when you pitch to a company, they're not going to say, well, we can't afford it, because they don't want to be seen to be, tight, or they don't want to admit they can't afford things. So if you talk to that business first and understand, well, okay, well, SEO's like a piece of string. There's no end. To say we have clients who pay £1,000 a month and we have clients who pay £25,000 a month. Which end of the scale are you on? I'm only asking because then we can put something together streamlined to your budget.
That's a very good tip. Okay, and the book, can it be bought on Amazon?
Yes, it's I published it way back in September 2017, and it gets sales every single month since. There hasn't a month gone by where I haven't had sales. In fact, when I launched, it went to bestseller status in both the US and the UK in 3 categories.
Oh, that's nice. I am definitely adding it to my list. Okay, you said you shared some failures and some successes there. Can you share some of your biggest failures?
Oh, yes.
Please do.
Yeah, I think again, it's not just listening to people and following the crowd is the biggest failure, because what works for one business might not work for another.
Yeah.
You can waste a lot of money going down a road just because somebody else is successful at it, that basically it's the wrong path for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done that many times. Basically, building teams up as well. Is building a team up. It's like, well, you look at it and the structure of the business, the agency is not right. You think, well, okay, we get all these clients and you build the team up, then suddenly the clients cancel for whatever reason, whether you've done a fantastic job or not, they just cancel. It's just a percentage will cancel. Then what happens to them people in the team? So you'll get into a situation where it's hard to manage. And I think scaling the agency and the business is hard without solid contracts in place. And I think that it's all learnings and all things that you go through, a learning process in that scenario, because every single thing I've done over the past 20 odd years, I've never borrowed any money at all, not one penny. It's all been my own money. I've reinvested into everything. So I've always been, well, if I'm going to test something, I'm going to test it with my own money. I'm not going to ask somebody else or the bank for a lot of money to see if something works. I'm going to do it myself. And that, has it always worked? No. Have I made lots of money? Yes. Have I lost lots of money? Yes.
Okay. And do you currently own an agency or a company?
No.
You're a freelancer, kind of, right now, right?
It's just me. I do have a couple of people who do things for me to maintain things and keep things going. But it's mainly the SEO training, speaking and advising, because I can't replicate myself. And one thing's for sure, I never want to build an agency up ever again.
And can you tell me why?
Because I was always at bottom of the barrel.
Okay.
So I was the last person I needed to think about. And I spent day and night building something up for other people. So I was building something up for the clients to make the clients' businesses very successful. I was building the business up to ensure that all the team was paid well. I was building the business up, for other people. And at the end of the month, then once everybody else was paid, you think, well, is there enough left for me? And I just sat back and thought one day, well, I'm literally working night and day, 7 days a week, and it's my family that's suffering because of the time I haven't been able to spend with them. And when I look at the money side of it, it just wasn't. It just, no amount of money is worth that sacrifice.
Because at some point when I was still working at the agency, I thought that my next step would be probably to set up my own SEO agency, start hiring people. After I started my website, I started getting my own clients. I realized that I will probably omit that step and I will simply transition to being a freelancer, which I did. And I think, at least now, that this was a good move because I saw working at the agency what it looked like for agency owners. And I think I understand what you're talking about. So
Yeah, I mean, and another side of it is when you are the agency owner, it's your baby. You
Yeah.
have so much passion for it, and that passion comes out in client meetings. It comes out in the knowledge you have to look at things. Now, the team might have passion anyway, but they don't think about things in the same way.
Yeah.
It really is a different mindset. And when I speak to the clients, they say, Mark, well, we've come with your agency because of you and what you know and what you've done. But I'm talking to this person over here, and suddenly you pulled in different directions. And
Yeah.
so you see, at least when I was freelancing, it was me. I'd personally go into a business. I'd personally talk to them. They like that. Yes, they paid a premium because it was me working on their account, but that they didn't mind that.
Yeah.
What usually happens in agency land is companies, agree a certain figure, and you sometimes, I'm not saying in all agencies, but sometimes that account, if it's not a well-known brand, gets serviced by the juniors,
Yeah.
but the client's still paying, for what they think is your
Yeah.
knowledge.
They're
And
paying for you, right? Like,
yeah, and I think that's the difference. And yes, I've run agencies, and I'm just too old to have the the hassle anymore.
I see. And I know you did everything from different angles of SEO, but can you name like your favorite area of SEO that you are most interested in?
Uh,
Hard to say. It depends.
yeah, like I say, it's to understand things. The thing is, with being a trainer, you can't turn up at a company
And
and
say,
they
yeah,
ask you a question and you think, well, I haven't a clue because I've never done it. So
you're right.
I spent night and day doing link building. I spent night and day doing technical stuff. I spent night and day doing content.
Yeah.
I've done these things. I think that what excites me about SEO is making a difference. It's having the ability to make a difference. It's not the content or link building or technical or internal structure makes me happy or I enjoy most. It's the end goal. It's the ability to do what needs to be done in order to make a difference. Because what people don't understand is it's not just data. You're not just making the numbers go up for that business. They forget and think about the people that work in that business. You're making a positive difference to their lives. You're helping to keep those people in a job. You're helping that business to recruit more people,
Yeah.
And that's, for me, it's making the ability to make a real difference to real people's lives. That excites me about SEO.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to put that quote somewhere, like in the title or something. Yeah, but I like it very much. Okay, and now, because this is what I have been doing, because recently I have rebranded myself and I was working with Jason Barnard, and I know
Yeah.
you did a similar thing. Can you tell me briefly, like, why did you change and how the process looked like?
Well, I'd love to give you a very big technical story, but it was an accident. Right. Now,
Okay.
what it was, I received lots and lots of messages on LinkedIn all the time from various things. And I got fed up of filtering all the spam automation from the genuine messages. So one day I thought, well, if I just put my middle initial in my front name, anytime a message comes through that says Mark A, it's automated. And that's literally how it started.
Okay.
Then I sort of looked at the whole landscape, because Mark Preston as a name, I mean, there's a reporter for CNN, Mark Preston, that, you know, then I typed in Mark A Preston. I thought, oh, I could stand out more for Mark A Preston. At the time, I was using a personal brand called Mark Preston SEO, right? Then I thought, well, okay, we've got the Mark A Preston bit, the A in the middle of my name, but what if Mark A Preston wants to venture into other areas of marketing in the future? Having a brand called Mark Preston SEO, I can't do that. It's solely within the SEO arena. But rebranding under Mark A Preston, I can do other things that, yes, it's related, because we never know what opportunities crop up in the future. You know, and that's how it sort of started. Then I sort of contacted Jason Barnard and said, look, I've got this old brand and this new brand, and how do I get everything from there across so people know it's the same person? And I didn't realize the amount of effort that goes into branding on SERPs. It is immense. And yes, I work with Jason Barnard and his team, who kindly, you know, look for all the mentions of my old brand. And I spent many, many, many hours contacting them sites and said, look, you know, I've rebranded. Can you just change this and link to this and, you know, do that? So the crossover to my new brand then. So in my head, I thought, oh, all I'm going to do is redirect the website and everything will be good. But it's a whole different entity. But the work involved is very much worthwhile.
I had a similar thing. I also thought I will change it where I can, my website, LinkedIn, Twitter, and that's all done. But at the same time, I was also like talking to Jason, and when they actually sent me the list, the to-do list of things they found, the things I should change, I was like astonished that there are so many mentions, so many articles I didn't even realize. And for me, this was a bit unfortunate because I had this assignment of changing, and I changed as much as I could, and then I went for vacation and I finished the rest around after a month later. And now at the time we are recording, I still have two knowledge panels with the old name and with the new one. We are waiting how it's going to be resolved, but I didn't do it exactly in the correct way. How about you? Did you like change everything in 1-2 days, like Jason advises?
I changed as much as possible straight away, all at once.
And how long did it take you to, for example, update your knowledge panel?
A full 2 weeks going through everything.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's, you know, when you're making contact and re-establishing old relationships and everything, it does take a bit of time, but it was well worth doing it. Yes, I didn't get every single thing sorted, but I got more sorted than not.
When was it?
Can't remember. About a year back. I can't remember now, to be honest.
Sure. I'm also getting so many messages on LinkedIn that I am not even able to respond, to read them even, actually. And maybe I should also think about some automation in that respect. Can you now tell me, this is the question I ask everyone, how does your normal day look like?
There isn't a normal day. That's the one day I can be down London on a stage. The next day I can be online training. The next day I can be in a company advising. It's doing different things that excites me.
Okay. So you don't have like a routine, like, because like I usually have like most of my days, I think they look similar, except for when I am kind of somewhere away. Okay. And can you recommend, in addition to your books, some SEO books to read, some resources you
I'll
recommend?
tell you what, not an SEO book, but this one.
Exactly what to say. Okay.
Yes. Now, this book,
Okay.
it's all about words and the way to say things. And within SEO, especially with the helpful content update, it's very good to understand how to say things in order to connect with people on that emotional level. And it's not directly about SEO, but the impact from them learnings has had a massive positive impact on SEO.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm adding this book to my list too. Okay, so talking about words, talking about Google Helpful Content Update, I need to ask you about your thoughts on AI in SEO, ChatGPT, your experiences so far.
Yes. I'd say it's very good for ideation and research. Ideation and research is where SEOs should be using these tools on. It can spark ideas.
Yeah.
It can spark things. Is it good enough to rewrite your website? No. Can you use it as a base to then add value? Yes, because you have to think about these tools write something based on what's already written in the public domain. The whole objective with the content on your website is to add value to what's already out there. Now, if you just use the content that it spits out, it's not adding that value. So all you are is just another site in the big crowd.
Yeah, repeating the things that have already
Yeah, you just
been
say
said
it in a different way. It's the same information. Obviously, there's the whole fact-checking side of things. But again, it is about a lot of SEO is about the content, and that's the differentiator that I personally found that you need to focus more on in order to generate the biggest impact, because a lot of content, even that ranks well, doesn't have that emotional connection. So it's not going to serve a purpose. And I don't think tools are at that level yet. I'm not saying they'll never be. It's just that, we're 2-3 years until that point, I think.
Based on your huge experience, expertise, what are your predictions regarding, because now Google announced BART being added ChatGPT to their search results. What do you think is going to happen in the nearest future, in the nearest years regarding search SEO?
I think the industry is going to go stupid. And there's no reason behind it. Basically, when you are looking at the future, is the one thing that sticks out is if Google are going to have what I call an exceeded click zero thing. So feature snippet. So where the feature snippet, like for question-based things, they're saying this BARD is for answering that, which is going to dramatically reduce the click-through rate for many sites. Now, what SEOs need to do, they need to work with it, and they need to come up with content that you cannot just answer.
Yeah.
No. Look for things, look for the opportunities rather than thinking negatively about AI. It's here. It's not going to go away. We have to work with it.
Rather than try to fight it.
Yes. I mean, that it's always the case within the industry is things do change and you have to understand it, but look for the opportunities that it possesses.
Okay, and overall, looking at the SEO industry, what's going on there, what do you think in general is the area of SEO we should be focusing on more now in 2023 and moving forward? Is it AI or?
Hey, you see, this is the problem.
Yeah.
SEO shouldn't be focusing on AI. AI is just a thing.
Yeah, the
it's
tool.
just there. SEO should always be focusing on the business goal. The problem is some shiny new thing turns up in the industry and SEOs get, they get blinded, think, it's all about this. It's all about ChatGPT. It's all about this. We need to structure things. No, just always, no matter what's out there, the number one aim for SEOs is to see how you can help that business get closer and faster to their business goals.
Yeah, sure, but there are like new trends appearing, new things, and sometimes those like focusing on those things more can actually help you move the needle
and
for
it's
the
saying
business.
that, like, for certain case studies that get written, most of the time there is no context behind them. So maybe because you don't know if that case study has been written based on brands that everybody knows. So if you're working on a brand that's very well known, you can sneeze and get 100 links.
Yeah.
Just stop it. I won't say which article it is, but I remember a well-known person publishing an article, and next thing I know, I see all these websites with a number and brackets in the title of every single page. Just because something works for one thing doesn't mean it's right for yours. You need to understand and question everything.
Okay, so where can people find you? What's the best place to connect with you? I guess it's not LinkedIn, or is it?
Yeah, LinkedIn or Twitter is the two main places, or my website is markapreston.com.
Any final thoughts for the audience?
Just don't be blinded. Just think about what's really important and question everything you do. If you don't understand the why you're doing it, don't do it.
Yeah, simple. Okay. Thank you, Mark, so much. Thank you, everyone. And we'll be talking next week. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.